This is the overview for Futato chapter 30. This is going to be a very brief overview because frankly this chapter is just reading. You're not going to have to really memorize forms. I would advise you to treat numbers as vocabulary. Now the previous chapter here, Futato chapter 29, he started giving you numbers in your vocabulary, so you'll already have the basic numbers in terms of the vocabulary you know. What you're going to see here, he has cardinal and ordinal numbers. Cardinal, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Ordinals are when you have first, second, third, fourth. Again, right here, as he notes in the vocabulary. That's the difference between a cardinal and an ordinal number. You've already had the cardinals in your vocabulary from the last unit. So what you're really observing now in this chapter are going to be masculine and feminine forms. Again, you should already pretty much have the cardinals, but when it gets to ordinals, there's going to be a little bit of a difference in form. Now, it changes entirely with first. You notice we have rishon and rishonah in feminine. Doesn't look anything like echad and akat. So these two would be essentially new vocabulary, but the rest of them you're going to have slight changes. They're going to end with yod, the hierarch yod. Be aware that sometimes in my digital version here there's a typo. There's a hierarch missing here from Shelley she. So just be aware of that. That happens periodically. I'm not sure why in the digital version. But in the feminine, it will end with T, like we would expect, again, with feminine forms. So just give this a read through. Again, if you know the numbers for your vocabulary already, this will really not be a problem. What you're going to want to pay attention to are his notes here, the way Hebrew works with numbers. You want to give this a close read and read for understanding. You're not going to need to memorize these things. I would say if you're going to try to memorize all these little rules, it'd be sort of a waste of time, kind of like memorizing vowel changes. But again, you can do what you want with that, but make sure you read it through closely so you're observant when you look at a text to translate. You'll know what's going on. He tells you how teen numbers are formed. Numbers 11 through 19 are a combination of 1s plus 10. So the word for 10 is asar, and so shelosha asar, 3, 10 would be 13. Again, the tens, he tells you how Hebrew does that. We have the number 10 is asar up here. The plural of 10, 20, is formed like a plural. It would be esrim. Notice the plural ending. Again, 30 through 90 would be plurals of the corresponding ones. So what he means by this is you have 10, asar, 20 is esrim, plural ending, but you say, well, okay, 20, the plural covers 20. What about all the other 10s, 30, 40, 50, all that stuff? Well, what Hebrew does is it takes the base number for the numeral, shalosh, and then adds im. Shalosh, plural, would be 30. Arba'im, 4 plural ending, would be 40. Okay, so just read through this. Hundreds, the word for hundred is me'ah. So when it's plural, it'll be me'ot. So here we have kameshet, 5 hundreds would be 500 in English. Thousands, Hebrew does the same thing as it does with hundreds, except the word for thousand is elef, and of course in plural it would be alafim. So shivat, 7 thousands would be 7,000 in English. It's not very difficult. Surprise, this is his discussion of the particle hine, which is traditionally translated behold. And in exercises, I will still be prone to do that, just to, again, make sure that hine is sort of accounted for in the translation. You wouldn't have to translate it. What Futato does down here is he puts exclamation points at the ends of sentences that begin with hine. So vehine malache Elohim. Literally this would be, and behold, angels of God. Okay. So he translates that, there were angels of God, exclamation point. Again, you can do that if you want, but I'll tend to give you the behold in a translation. So just read through that, read through the examples, and believe it or not, that's the chapter. Not a whole lot in this chapter. It's pretty lightweight, which is why I grouped this chapter with another one in this unit in the course. So again, just make sure you read through it closely, and then you can move on to the exercises. So this is the end of the overview for Futato, chapter 30.